Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. Underwhelming would be the word that comes to mind for those of us watching the dignified transfer of dead Americans from the battlefield back home. We wondered what our military response would be. What is the price to be paid for killing American soldiers? Not much. So far, at least. The Biden administration claims what we saw or didn't see was just the first round, with more to come. We shall see if the U.S. retaliates against Iran with strikes actually inside the country of Iran. Joining us now is a former State Department spokesperson, Morgan Ortagus. Welcome, Morgan. Underwhelming was the consensus from those I have surveyed, but what was your take on the long-awaited U.S. response to the killing of American soldiers and the wounding of dozens more?
Well, and according to Admiral Kirby, Trey, that response remains ongoing. We did see a few Kataib Hezbollah, which is another Iranian Shia proxy group in Iraq, get some of its senior leaders killed. That's always a good thing, right? Happy to kill terrorists any day. But the crucial question is, did the administration attack anything of value, anything of emotional, strategic, or sensitive value to the Iranian regime? See, the Iranian regime has terror proxies throughout the Middle East because they are expendable. So if you kill a few Kataib Hezbollah or a few Hamas or a few Houthi leaders, do the Iranians really care? No, not really. That's why they're proxy groups. They find those people utterly expendable. And so the question remains, what, similar to the Soleimani strike that Mike Pompeo and Trump pursued in the last administration, what are we taking off of the table that is, again, of strategic, emotional, sensitive, important value to the Iranians? That has not happened yet.
You know, you raise an interesting point. I was talking to my friend and old colleague, Tom Cotton, who said the Iranians are willing to spend as many Arab lives as they have to. Not Iranian lives, but Arab lives. So let me, why the reluctance to strike inside Iran? I mean, you're a foreign policy expert. I am not. But why the reluctance to do anything inside the territorial boundaries of the country of Iran?
This goes back to 2014, 2015 in the Obama administration. The Biden team, which is the same team as the Obama team, is wedded to what is called the JCPOA, which is the Iran nuclear deal. They are wedded to it like it's a religion, like it's a religious artifact, so to speak. And they believe that that was the right course of action. Their hair was on fire whenever the Trump administration withdrew from the JCPOA, because the fact that they had a deal that they thought was going to at least kick the can down the road from Iran getting a nuclear weapon, what they spent their blood, sweat, and tears on in the Obama administration, it was the pinnacle of their diplomacy, and President Trump undid that. They've never been able to get over it. So fast forward to January 2021, what does President Biden and his team do for the last 3 years, Trey? They pursued a totally different policy for Iran. When they came into office, Iran was broke. President Trump has said this before, and he's right. Iran was broke because of the maximum economic pressure campaign, and they were at least probably 6 to 8 months away from enriching enough uranium for a nuclear weapon. Do you know how many weeks or months away they are from that now? They're actually days away from it, Trey. Days away from having enough enriched uranium in order to have a nuclear weapon. Now, the weaponization side of that may take several months, but the point is that the Iranian regime has never been closer to having a nuclear weapon than under President Biden, than under his team's watch. They have spent 3 years chasing the Iranian regime around the world, not enforcing sanctions, which has enriched them to the tune of at least $90 billion because the sanctions aren't enforced, giving them $6 billion in the largest ransom payment in American history, weeks before the October 7th massacre. Meanwhile, the Iranian regime is currently trying to kill former Trump administration officials like Mike Pompeo and Brian Hook on our soil. They are actively killing American troops in the Middle East. Oh, and they're days away from a nuclear bomb. This is a failed strategy. They have to admit it, and they have to quickly course correct before things get even more worse in the Middle East in 2024.
Yep, you're right. You and I have friends that have security details because Iran wants to kill them, and yet we're negotiating with them. But we're going to have to save that for another Sunday night. I have a sneaking suspicion, Morgan, this will not be the last time you and I discuss this issue. Thank you for joining us on a Sunday night.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.